So today we have Steve from Ensystex with us. How are you doing today, Steve?
Very good. A nice fall day here.
Oh my goodness. Where is here for you? Where are you out of?
Ringo's, New Jersey. That's
Okay.
Hunterdon County, central New Jersey, on the western side of the state.
Okay. Okay. And you're a rep for Ensystex. What's your territory? How far do you go?
I cover Minnesota to Maine
Oh my gosh.
and Canada.
Really? Okay. I thought it was just the Northeast. Holy cow.
That's why if I look tired sometimes, that's why.
You're jet lagged, right? Oh my goodness. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit because you're going to be up at our November 15th Upstate Conference that we're doing in Syracuse, New York. This
Mhm.
year is the first year up there for the state association. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about Ensystex and how did you find your way to Ensystex, Steve?
Well, I've been in the industry for many years. This is actually my 55th year.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I started as a technician. I completed my first year of college. I started as a technician in a Quaker Oats cookie plant. And then it was in the early 90s, I jumped on the supply side of this industry. And coming out of the service side of the business, that gives you a great background.
Yeah, sure.
Plus, if you have a technical degree. So, yeah, and I've been with Ensystex now for 17 years. It's going to be my
Holy cow.
18th year in 2025.
So what is Ensystex today most known for? Like if you had to pick one thing that was like a flagship product, what is that?
Well, the termite bait system is still important, particularly in other parts of the world.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, what's interesting about Ensystex um, is a 64, something, I think it's like something like 64% of our business is overseas.
Oh, wow.
And much of that is the bait system. Some time ago, our Australian team, and we have a great technical group in Australia,
Hmm.
and they got started with the Vector, the insect light trap line, and
Wow.
that's become a very significant part of the business as well.
Sure, sure. Now, for you in that territory from Minnesota to Maine, is it it's not as much with the termites though? Is it mostly baits or concentrates? What do you end up working in
It,
most?
it depends on the area.
Hmm.
Um, and that can vary individually in a state.
Hmm.
In fact, New York State is a good example of that.
Okay.
So Long Island is, that's the termite capital of New York, it seems, and certainly that's an important area for termite baiting. Um, then you get into other areas of New York where, I mean, I guess you would say in your area there's not much going on in that regard.
Right, right.
But at the same time, I can tell you that Ithaca, New York, I mean, that's like the termite capital of the world there. I mean, we do a lot. We sell a lot of bait right there
Hmm.
for many years,
Yeah.
and I've had the chance to go through structures that my customers have taken me through structures that were just incredibly termite riddled. It's like, well, forget baiting here, just run a bulldozer through it. So,
Time to start over, right?
yeah. So the answer to that question, and typically the further north you go, the less activity you expect.
Yeah, sure, sure.
But there are pockets that can be surprising.
Yeah, sure. So, what do you have that's new? Is there anything going on new with Ensystex?
Well, right now we're looking at, and we've been looking at this for a while, and we do need it. We sell a fair amount of rodent control product, even though we're not about to try to compete with the likes of Leafitech and Bell. Okay,
Sure,
that's
sure.
not our goal. But we do quite well otherwise, and we're planning on bringing out a mouse bait station here soon. The
Oh wow.
prototype is that, as I understand, the prototype is done. I was actually involved with that myself to an extent.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
uh,
this is a mouse-sized bait station, you
yeah,
said?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
Neat.
that's on the way. When it's ready, I'll bring one in and show you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
and yeah, so and then we are looking at glue products as well, other
Mm.
glue products. Uh, that's been tough too, because we want a high quality glue, one that will perform in even in colder temperatures,
Hmm.
and still be competitive price wise.
Sure.
If you price yourself out of the market, then obviously we're just wasting time. Then but I think eventually that will be complete as well.
So you're going to be up at the Upstate Conference in November, right?
Yes, that's right. Yes,
Okay. So yeah, this is our like first foray into having a hopefully annual Upstate conference like this from the New York Pest Management Association. We're pretty excited about it, and I think you guys are as well.
yeah. In fact, I'm excited enough that we are one of the sponsors, and I've been spreading the word,
Oh,
you
awesome.
to try to bring as many people in as possible, including some of my Pennsylvania people, if they're willing to make the drive.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I feel like this is an area. Upstate is an area that there's not as many people as downstate. Obviously, we have about half as many population up here. But there's a lot of great little companies that don't get a lot of attention. There's not a lot of opportunity for in-person classes like this and to meet with like people like yourself, reps from companies, because
Mhm.
it's hard for you guys to make your way. You can't make it to every little mom and pop all over the place. But if we can have events like this that sort of bring people together, it's a perfect opportunity to meet a lot of people in a small space.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was glad to see that, and I'm glad to help out wherever I can. And so,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, when you said 55 years, I was a little shocked. I did not think you had been involved with the industry that long, Steve. Did you start at like 8 years old or like?
I was. It was the summer of 1969.
Oh my God! Like the
Okay.
song "Summer of '69" is that?
Yeah. In fact, sometimes when I hear that song, I think back to
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
you
Oh my
know.
goodness.
Uh, but
So all that time, you must have seen a lot of things.
yes, a lot of. I mean, look, back then you got to remember when I started, there was no EPA,
Right. Yeah, you predate the Fungicide Rodenticide Act, don't you? Oh
and
my
and
gosh.
and the DDT was still on the market.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So, and then I saw after that we had the first Earth Day, and things started to change. I mean, back at that point, I mean, even through the 70s, I mean, the term IPM
Hmm.
was like would have been like a foreign language,
Okay.
and um, I mean, I got it. I had the opportunity to see things like IPM grow up,
Yeah.
um, and in fact, for the West Virginia meeting, I did a presentation on insect pheromones. Um, I took a particular interest in that because when I started, we had Indian meal moth traps, but that was about as sophisticated as it got.
Mm-hmm.
And now that technology has just really taken off,
Yeah.
especially in the
Wow.
last 20 years in particular. Um, but I know we've seen some chemicals come and go, some very good. I mean, I think I used enough Vapona to fill a swimming pool, and
Oh my gosh.
um, but it worked quite well.
So now, you hear people say about, oh, the good old days and, the good stuff and whatever. Do you think professional pest management today is better than when you started?
I think we're better educated, certainly.
Mm.
When I started, there wasn't really any reason to be educated.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
in fact, as an example, I remember my first night on the job. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, and they put me behind this big G77 microgen with the Briggs and Stratton gas engines and the two nozzles.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, "What?" I said, what's in this fogger?" And the the supervisor looks up at me and says, "What do you think it is? It's bug juice." I mean, it, that's kind of what you had.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Today, you'd have to, you have to be educated.
Yeah.
If the employee asks for a label and an SDS for his own file, you got to give it to him. All right, So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Back then he'd say, "I don't know, the label's on the jar. See if we can get it off."
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. Oh my God. And probably PPE usage has changed a lot. I know you see those old videos of DDT getting fogged around the kids playing on the playground and all that.
yeah,
Like a
yeah,
whole
they used
different world.
to.
Are you in some of those videos, Steve?
I
That's
don't know
him.
about I wouldn't say the DDT one, but if there was a video of kids chasing the mosquito foggers, that would have been me on our bikes. So.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like when I look at this, I see like the first generation of what I would think modern pest management. Like the era that came in with the dawning of IPM is to me like Gen 1 of modern pest management. And we're just sort of like, I think, coming towards the end of people that spearheaded their careers, right? We have a lot of that first generation now sort of retiring out and having the second generation, coming into their own.
Right.
Do you see something like that, like a sort of flow of talent, how it's changed over time?
Yes, uh, I mean, I've seen a lot of that. I mean, I've been around long enough that I think I've seen a couple of evolutions now
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
Um, and although back in the 70s, a lot of this depended on the organization. I'm talking, and I'm thinking about, and now in the case of food processing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course, I'd worked for, Unilever had we had some pretty stringent rules and procedures in place,
Mm-hmm.
in spite of what might have been lacking on a regulatory end.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the point is, my perspective might be a little bit different from
Yeah.
somebody else's. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe also worked in the food industry, but for a mom and pop bakery in Buffalo, New York, or something. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but
So yeah. Now, do you remember the Federal Insecticide, Rodenticide, Fungicide Act when that was passed?
yes,
Was that a big deal? Like, did people fight that? Was there like a lot of like the sky is falling for the industry, or what was the
any
reaction?
any regulation was looked at overreach by government.
Mm, okay.
We can manage ourselves. They're going to put us out of business.
Okay.
I mean, and I've seen several evolutions of that,
Yeah. Sure.
including a little more recent when we had the rule about application on a structure, feed up, feed out.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, I had customers. I had one fella. He is a New York customer. Was literally crying that he's going to be put out of business, and he can't. But
Wow.
but the thing is, but it wasn't put out of business, and we had adapted, and we're still
Yeah.
we're still doing our pest control. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, like, the problems aren't going away. They're still going to need solutions.
No,
What that solution looks like might change, and how much it's going to cost might change. It only gets more expensive as you make it more difficult and regulate
right.
it, which is a double-edged sword, right? Like, yeah, it's more expensive, maybe it's harder, but we make more money, and the industry's more exclusive and professional. So,
Hmm.
yeah, wow, that's neat. That is really neat. Oh, this is great. So we're happy to see you up on November 15th up here in Syracuse, um, Upstate Conference. And yeah, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they go ahead and do that?
Um, okay, guys, my email, and I can give you my phone number, the 203
All right. Awesome.
Okay.
Steve, we look forward to seeing you in November.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. I was happy to see the announcement, and like I say, I've been spreading the word as much as I can
Awesome.
that we can make this a success for everybody
I
here.
hope so. Hopefully it's a big turnout for sure.
Okay.